Welcome to Vertical Football, and this is the Blue Box. Yeah, this is a show where we talk all things Chelsea. Today we want to talk about Xabi Alonso. Chelsea has appointed Xabi Alonso as the new manager of the club, and I think it's very, very exciting news. Not even the news anymore. Everybody knows about it, so we are going to be doing it differently. We just want to give a general thought about Xabi Alonso joining Chelsea, and then we also speak about now that he has joined, what's next, and also we look at positions to strengthen to give Xabi Alonso a very solid squad to go on to achieve whatever it is that they have stated out as their objective to achieve. So those are the three frames that we are going to be looking at it from. Also, guys, let's jump right into it and let's have this discussion. When the news first came in, and it was not about the appointment, I think it was about the personal agreements about Xabi Alonso and Chelsea. It came in like, I think it should be 30 minutes after the final, or maybe let's say around 1 hour after the final. I was like in my mind, is this true? Because I was thinking the Blue Co wanted to play games with us because we just lost the final. Are you trying to bring in a news so that you can cover the loss that we just had, so there will not be noise around the club and like, oh, these guys have not done really well, backlashing for losing the final again and all of those kind of things. So I'm like, are these people trying to like cover tracks and all of those kind of things? But fortunately, I think it was maybe less than 12 hours after the final, they announced it that we have signed a 4-year deal with Xabi Alonso. And I think for everybody is an exciting news, even given the fact that we are coming from a place where even legends, people who see the game from a higher perspective, people who have insight into the way these things work, have said there is no sane manager that will come into this Chelsea club. And I think we are already starting to believe that reality, that it's kind of like true. Is there anybody who would look at what is going on at Chelsea and still want to go into that kind of an environment? I think Xabi Alonso coming into this club is a breath of fresh air. I think the narrative has begun to change. People are beginning to be optimistic, and it's so funny how just one correct, we can't necessarily call it a correct decision until we see how things goes out. But you just know when you do something that looks like the right thing, this just shows you how much it can affect the atmosphere at the club. Because in the past 5-6 weeks of this club, it has been negative all around, bad performance, calling out the board. The boys are beginning to speak up. The boys are beginning to turn their back on the project. There are some goods here and there, like Moses Caicedo extending his contract, Rich James signing a new contract. There are some goods there, but I think the negative outweighs the positive. So you now bringing somebody like Xabi Alonso into the club, I think it just puts us at ease. And it's kind of like you look at what is going on around the club now, or in the footballing world, the pundits, the analysts, the big guys, Sky Sport Athletic, and it's kind of like everybody's now optimistic about the project at Chelsea. So that's the power of you making something that looks like a right decision. That's the power of what it can do to the environment at the club. So now let me give my own thoughts about this Xabi Alonso coming into the club. One of the things that I'm happy about, two things. So the first one is, I think it's a consistency of the project. Yeah. And I used Manchester United as an example when I was doing one particular video like that. And I said, you look at what Manchester United did, going to sign Amorim, giving the fans a view like, oh, we want to build a project, and they are continuing on it. First season, second season into it, and then boom, it's not working out. They took out the guy. They brought in another interim manager to manage the period all through. And then at the end of the season, instead of going back to what they were building, they left it on one side and went for somebody who has shown them success in a short period of time. For me, I think it's a wrong way to go. Manchester United knows their club better than I am. But when you look at things from a general perspective, you just know there's something not right about it. And I'm happy that the Blue Co have chosen to work in this part that they have worked in, because you look at the structure at the club is we want to have a defined style. And what's that defined style? Possession-based football and also positional play. And you look at they coming in with Graham Potter. I think Pochettino was an odd egg and they realized quickly, they let him go. And then you went from Porter to Maresca to Rosinho, all these people played that particular style, positional play and possession-based football. And then you're coming into appointing somebody like Xabi Alonso. It's just perfect for you, and you know, okay, yes, it still retains that identity that you want to build for yourself. So as much as they're not getting some things wrong, I can boldly say and give them an applaud for this one, that they got this one right, in the sense that the person that they are bringing in is in alignment with who they want the club, with what they want the club to look like. So I'm very, very happy about that part. I'm really, really glad. I think you can, if you can go into my mind, I can't tell you see how much happy I am about it. I can't tell you how much I'm very, very happy that we do not neglect what we have been doing and then just jump on to go and start doing something else again. So I'm very, very happy about that. And secondly, I think the decision to bring Xabi Alonso into the club brings balance to the club. And I'll explain my reason. Balance in the sense that the reason why we don't have balance in this club initially is the fact that the board are running with a different idea and the fans are running with a different idea. What's the board's idea? The board's idea is we want to build an exciting squad. We want to build a young squad that can go on to achieve success consistently, which is fine and good. But now, what's the idea of the fans? The fans wants to win now because that's the culture of this club. So when I did the video last time, I was speaking about this thing that you want to find a place where you are on a level ground. You are not just you doing what you want to do and neglecting the other side. You want to find a balance. And the reason why Xabi Alonso brings balance is the fact that Xabi Alonso is a person that you can trust with an idea that he will build your squad for you when it comes to helping the young guys grow. But at the same time, you know that he is trophy driven or success driven. And there are evidence for it. You go to Bayer Leverkusen and you see what he did. Bringing out somebody like Grimado and you're seeing a different kind of Grimado. You're seeing a different kind of Florian Wirtz. You're seeing a different kind of Jeremy Frimpong. You're seeing him build these young players, but at the same time, going on to achieve success, winning the Bundesliga in a league where there is Bayern Munich, where there is Borussia Dortmund, and you look at the fashion at which he won it, unbeaten in the league, and also went on to win their League Cup, and also went to the Europa final, but he lost to Atlanta. But you can see that he's achieving the two things at the same time. He's growing the talent, he's growing the young players, but he's also achieving the success for you. So I think that thing brings a balance. Now, if he comes into this, as he has come to this club, as he has come into this club, is a balanced place. When you bring in your young guys or the young guys that you have there, you can be growing them under this guy, and at the same time, the fans will be getting what they want, which is because I'm very sure you cannot be bringing Alonso into the club and thinking, oh, we want to build for another 4 years. No, maybe you are getting at most 1 year and then success. So I think the fans will be in a place of understanding that let's see how he gels in this season, and next season let's start setting our expectation to the level that Chelsea is supposed to be expecting. So it's like a balance for the two sides. The board gets what they want to get, build players, and also the fans get what they need to get, which is success. So I think the idea of bringing this guy into the club is a balance for the two parties, and I think that's where we want to be so that we can ride towards the place where we are planning to go to. Also, one of the things that we need to take note also is Xabi Alonso being appointed as a manager. You just don't know how beautiful these decisions are, I tell you. Because when you have an head coach, the sporting director is the one who decides the kind of people who come into the team. Yeah, it decides the profile, it decides the caliber of the player, it decides where they scout the player from. They are the one who make the ultimate decision on who comes into the team and who goes out of the team. And that kind of a decision from the sporting director, for me, I think it is faulty, in the sense that what they will be doing is majorly what's good for the club. basically, and you see what's good for the club can be very subjective, in the sense that what's good for the club from a sporting director point of view is this a financially okay decision? Is this going to bring profits into the club? If we are bringing this guy, what do we gain in the books? Those kind of. But for somebody who is a manager, as much as he will consider the book, because the sporting director will have to be putting that to his face, but he will be more driven by how much impact is this person that you are bringing in going to affect this squad, which in turn helps the whole thing entirely. Because if you bring a player of a good quality into the club, which is a manager's decision, you are going to know that it will help you to achieve success. And when you're achieving success in football, it is turning into financial reward. So I think him becoming a manager on one part is just a beautiful thing to see. And that's one of the things that we lost under Enzo Maresca. If this kind of an opportunity had been given to Enzo Maresca, I don't think we will be here where we are now. When he's asking for this particular profile, like, because it is in your contract for you to act in that way, you go on to get that for him. And what you're expecting for him is results. I've given you what you want, and you give us also what we want. And I think they will not disappoint, because you look at the levels of this guy, tactically they are sound, but because they don't have the amount of control that they want, or the amount of control that they actually need, I think it limits them. And also, it's psychological when you're saying move this way, but nothing is happening. Why? Because you don't have control. Psychologically, you're tired of it. Like, I can't push this thing, but I necessarily need to push this thing so that I can achieve what I want to achieve. So I think I really like that. And we know when you give a manager control, there are a whole lot of things that he will be in charge of. Incoming of player, it determines who comes into the club. It determines who goes out. And somebody, you can see it in the transfer already. Barcelona going intensely for somebody like Joao Pedro. But now we are hearing that Xabi Alonso wants to assess the squad before he decides who goes out of this club. If you leave that to the sporting director, or leave that to the top guys there, majorly, as much as they are concerned about the footballing part of the thing, you will find out that if the money is enticing, they will take it. They will take it. But for the manager, it looks like, how important, his question will be more, how important is this player for me, for this squad? If I take this player out, do I have somebody who in the next 1 week, 2 weeks, I can go and bring in that betters this player? Because you don't want to be taking A out and then what you are getting is A or lesser than A. You want to be taking A out and bringing something who is slightly better than A or very much better than A. So as a manager, you'll be assessing all of these options before you make any decision in the outgoing or incoming of a player. And also the scouting, because the manager is in charge, you get things like, all right, maybe I need a profile of a wing back, but I need him to be somebody who is 24, and maybe it can even be countryside thing. Like, I need him to be Portuguese, maybe because of the machineries kind of build up that they have the energy to keep doing the job up and down without getting tired or getting worn out. So, it determines where you go out to look for players. That's what control does for a manager. And something like the medical, which is becoming a very big issue at the club, as much as we understand what the medical thing is, when we speak about the manager having control, you want to look at the medical part also. You look at the Chelsea's build-up. Chelsea's build-up is we want our medical to be independent of the manager's position. So the manager does not have ultimate power over the medical. And I think that's possible when the coach is just an head coach. Because the idea of an head coach is manage what you have. You are not in control of anything. What you are in control of is how we play, how you set up the tactics, how you get results on the pitch. All of the other things we will manage. But when you now have a manager, you want somebody who you can trust his decisions to oversee the whole thing. So that idea of Chelsea Medical being an independent body, I think it has come to an end already. because now the manager determines who play, and though it's going to be something in sync, something that they are talking about, that they are having discussions about, but you know that this is going to be the manager making the ultimate decision for what happens in the medical. And also the academy. As a manager, you want to be determining what style of play are they playing. You know, the football club is going to have its style of play, which is both possession-based football and positional based football. And if you watch the academy, the under 18, the under 21s, the under 15, you can see the blueprint already for Chelsea. It's already spreading down the lane. That's the way they played here. When you watch those guys, you can basically see that they are doing something very close to what we see in the men's team. So, you know, now when the manager now come, there will be tweaks in the way he wants to approach his game. So if you are even looking at somebody like a fullback or an inside forward, is something that the manager can let them know. In the academy, you people have to start inculcating things like an inside forward, so that we'll be having seamless integration from the academy into the first team. But when he's an head coach, I don't think he has a say on what goes on down there. He can only suggest, but I don't think he has a say on what goes on down there. Yeah, so I think these are my own thoughts about Xabi Alonso becoming a manager at Chelsea. I'm excited about it. I think it brings balance. I think the choice of consistency is something that I like so much, and also making him a manager, I like the fact that he did that, and he also helps him to get control. So he's comfortable in himself, like, okay, now when I want to move things, I can move things because of the way I see it, but also I'll carry these guys along, but I know that I can move things. It makes the work easier. Now let's go on to what's next. That's a very beautiful question that we have to start asking ourselves. What's next? Xabi Alonso has come into the club. Firstly, I think the next thing that needs to happen in this club now is allowing the manager to manage the club. Yes, keeping to your promise is as simple as that. I don't think there is so much explanation that needs to come to that anymore. You have signed this person as a manager. Allow him to manage the club. That's basically the next thing to do. And how do you allow a manager to manage the club? I said, first thing, give him the right condition. Yes, you have to give him the right condition, and the right condition basically means when he's asking for a profile, you need to back him. If you can't get him the tier 1 of that profile, get him tier 2, something that is not very far from what he's asking of. Because, you know, as much as a manager will want to ask for things, sometimes their request might be ridiculous, and you're looking at the position that the club is at this point in time, you know, the board will also have to consider some things. So if you're not getting him the best in class, you need to be getting him the second best in class. Yeah, so back him, give him support. When you're looking at things that he's speaking about, let's do this thing, let's do these things, let's remove this one, let's not put this one. You need to be seen from where he's seeing from. Like the communication has to be in sync. You have to be talking like one, because the only people who will go on to succeed, most especially in this football, are the people with one voice and one vision. You are seeing the same thing, so you are talking about the same thing. Yeah, so I think that part is very, very important. Give him the right condition. And also another way of giving him the right condition is everybody knowing their position. Let's Paul and the Lawrence guy and the Paul guy, let them handle the transfer and the negotiation and everything and the technical part of the football club. Let them not come into the coaching part. Let them do their part perfectly well. Let Xabi Alonso report to them like it is normal, supposed to be, like it's supposed to be the hierarchy of the thing. Let him report to them. Not you coming down to interfere in the things that he's supposed to be doing at the club. And also, let all the other guys who are the scouting guys, let them pay attention to scouting instead of trying to bring in ideas on the way he should play, the kind of system he should play, what he should. All you can do at this point in time, I believe, should be suggestion. Let the manager take the final decision on anything that has to do with his dressing room, that has to do with his player, that has to do with the way he's playing on the pitch. So let there be less interference and support the manager. I think that's basically the next thing to do, and sign the right profile for this guy to put him in a space where he has a strong team. I don't think we need to take too much on that because I think it's a very straightforward thing. Allow the manager manage the club. And lastly, now let's now look into the squad and let's talk about positions that needs to be strengthened in this squad. Yeah, firstly, lastly, I the last time I spoke about the goalkeeper's position, I think I went to do an analysis and watch Xabi Alonso's time at Bayern Leverkusen and also watch his time at Real Madrid. One of the things that I noticed is he didn't heavily rely on his goalkeeper. So I think Sanchez is good to go. In all honesty, you can bring in my book. I'll be very honest with myself and be very, very honest with you. Not necessarily, I don't think he has anything to do with the person, but I just think Jorgensen needs to find a better club or find another club. I would say I don't think he fits what we want. He's a ball playing goalkeeper, but his shot stopping ability is questionable. So if now you have a team where you're not heavily relying on a ball playing goalkeeper, he's going to be a part of it, but he's not heavily on like the Maresca's time and the Rosenior's time. What you want is you want somebody who can protect your goalpost when it comes to shot stopping. And I think Sanchez is one of the best in the league when it comes to shot stopping ability. So I think we keep Sanchez, but bring in somebody else who can try and push him up to that part when it comes to shot stopping and maybe upgrade him also even in the ball playing ability. And we are looking at Mike Penders from Strasbourg. I think he's going to come into the club, but he's still young. But one thing I'm seeing now is I think Seventy Lamens of Manchester United has changed my viewpoint in the fact that sometimes it does not depend where you come from. It's just the matter of are you good enough to get into that position and ride on, because you look at what that boy is doing at Manchester United, you envy that goalkeeper. You want him at your club, in all honesty. It might not be we have not seen the best of him when it comes to ball playing, but when it comes to shot stopping, you can basically rely on him. So I need somebody who can come into this club and put Sanchez up to his game, both in shot stopping and in ball playing ability. So another thing that you all agree on is that in the centre-back position of this club, we need massive upgrade, and we don't just need an upgrade of what we did last season or in the winter where we went on to bring somebody like what's his name, Mamadou Sarr, bringing somebody like Ansemino back to the club. I don't think that's the profiles that we need, and no ill speaking about those guys themselves. They are good players in their own level, but I think those are not the profiles that we need in this club. Analyzing the profile that we need in this club, now we have seen what Levi Colwill can bring to the club when he is stable, and also you can be very, very confident if the partnership is Levi Colwill and Fofana. It's a very solid partnership when the two of them are playing at their best level. But the point is, these two guys have given us a lot of examples and showed us that they cannot always be available. So now we have to be preparing towards their own availability. And that's why I would say we need at least two starting centre backs, at least two centre backs that they are ready to start at this club. They are ready to start at this club. And I know we are in a bad situation, not playing in the Champions League will not give us the opportunity to sign the best of the best. But that's one of the reasons why I'm happy that we brought in somebody like Xabi Alonso, which I feel like his caliber, his stature as a manager can lure in some of the best players in world football. So I think we just need to be looking at the right profile to bring. And also, I spoke about we need the best of players, but we don't need the most shining thing in the market. Because when you go back to Bayern Leverkusen, and I know Bayern Leverkusen is not Chelsea, you just check it out like Frimpong is not the shiniest thing in the market. But look at what he did with that guy in Bayer Leverkusen. That's basically what I'm trying to say when I say we don't need the shiniest of him. We just need that profile that suits perfectly well and has shown us a glimpse of, I can do this thing that you are expecting of this role. I can do it perfectly well. You look at Grimaldo, you look at Florian Wirtz. These people are not the They are good in their ways, but they are not the best thing out there. So that's what I'm saying. When Chelsea wants to recruit, we need to be looking at the perfect profile that has shown the track record that they can do this job that we are expecting of them to do. And also, we need to start looking at statistics. And if you are talking about the centre back, I think somebody like Vaneka, who in Brighton, and I know people call us out for that because we are always going to Brighton, we are always doing things with Brighton. But the point is, if Brighton has the profile that you basically want, then go on to get it. So I think somebody like Vaneka can do that job because you look at what he's doing in the Premier League now, and also he's 25. That means he's just starting his peak period as a defender. So you'd want to bring that kind of profile into the club. Premier League experience he has played 3 seasons in the Premier League, and you go back to his time at Brighton, I think he was their best player last season in the Premier League. So you look at these things and you're like, okay, what's the profile that we want? Is this guy still so young? Is he just in his peak period? Is he already in his peak period? Is he just you need to tick all of those boxes and then you bring that profile into the squad. Yeah, so I think centre back, at least 2 centre back, solid ones, not just anyhow centre back, just to fulfill your righteousness that you have gotten centre backs. Now, the next position I would say is the right wing. I think the left wing for me is okay. There's Cucurella, Giovanni Cuenda. I don't know. I've been hearing talks here and there if he's going to want to play that position because I think they were saying he prefers to play more as a winger. Let's see how it goes. But I think we have Cucurella on that side. Even somebody like Pedro Neto can give us something on that side also, maybe on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side, but I think he can do something. But I think the right-hand side, we have seen it times without number that place is a weak point or a weak spot for us in this club. Yeah, we want to strengthen that place because if you start out, if Xabi Alonso comes in and eventually plays his 3 at the back, so you have 3-4-2-1, this guy who is the right wing back needs to be able to take up the responsibility of doing the offensive and the defensive job of the right flank. And as good as Malo Gusto is in his own ways, I think he's very reluctant to do the attacking duties, to do the attacking part of the job. We have seen it times without numbers. We have spoken about these things times without numbers. It's almost like I'm becoming a broken record when it comes to Malo Gusto's issue in the attacking sense. So we need somebody who is ready to take up that responsibility of chopping that lane to and fro, chopping the lane to and fro, because somebody like Kopama will always want to stay in the inside, always want to receive in the pocket and not necessarily drift out wide. So if you are playing the Alonso 3-4-2-1, you need an active right winger who will keep on going and coming and doing that job effectively. So I think we need to start looking out for players who can do that job perfectly for us. Maybe if we get somebody like Vaneka, because of his ability on the ball and also his ability off the ball in his ground duels, in his area duel, as strong as he is in those situations of the game, he can play as a right centre back, and then we can also give Reece James the role to play the right wing back so that he will have protection and not worry too much about the defensive part of the game, because you have somebody who can be solid behind him, because Vaneka is a very aggressive defender. So he jumps, he runs into press, he knows how to do all of those things. And also one of the part I think is also the left wing. That's the left inside forward. That's the second part of the number 10. I think that part is something that we know Estevao can play on that part, but you want to, for every position, you want to have 2 people who are fighting for the position. So you want to put Estevao and Kopama in the inside forward of the right wing. Yeah, so you want to look at good options on the inside forward of the left wing, because if you play Kopama in the right and you play Estevao on the left, when it's time to make changes, who are you bringing in? It's like that's a question that we need to ask ourselves. Oh, they have played so well in the first half, and you are playing maybe like 4 competitions, so 3 matches a week. When push comes to shove, who are you bringing in? Who are you using to substitute for the other person if you are playing the 2 of them as starters? So we need to strengthen that position. Look for players who can fit in perfectly and do that job. And the job of that person in the right wing, inside forward, is get the ball in pocket, somebody who has spatial awareness, because that place is a place where you will be standing in between the defender and the defense, in between the midfielder rather and the defense of the opponent. So somebody with spatial awareness who know where they are, who knows how to combine with his player, who knows how to take the ball in the half turn, who knows how to operate in the pocket and also find passes to the striker who is running in behind, or from the wing back who is making an underlapping or overlapping run. Like somebody who can connect perfectly well. That's the profile that we need in that space. And also somebody who has the awareness that, okay, now this is the right time to take a shot, because you'll be very close to the box. You are majorly in the zone 14. So we need somebody in that profile to fit in into that space on the left wing of the inside forward. And also, I think we just need to upgrade our striking position. I think the signing of Liam Delap has shown that it's not working. And like I've said times without number, we don't know the profile that Xabi Alonso will want, but I think he would like the João Pedro's kind of profile. Any coach will like the João Pedro's kind of profile, because it gives you a different dynamic. It's not necessarily, he's a box striker, but it's not necessarily a stagnant box striker. He wants to be there, but at the same time, he wants to come out to come and be a part of the build-up of the team. And if you go as far back as Bayern Leverkusen for Alonso, you see somebody like Boniface. As much as you can find his presence in the box, he's also the guy who comes in, drags somebody out and allow his number 10 go in to take that position, and they can link up and create something for themselves. So I think those are the position. Majorly the goalkeeper, somebody who pushes Sanchez up to his game. Center backs, proper center backs who are ready to start in the club. And then on the right wing, we just need somebody on the right wing who has the ability to want to take up the responsibility of that flank. And when we're saying responsibility of the flank, that means to and fro, attacking and defending. And also on the left-hand side of the inside forward, we need somebody there with the spatial awareness, who knows where the player is, who can operate in pockets, who can take the ball on the half turn, who can create space and create passes for players that are running in behind, and also who can go into the attacking zone when the striker is coming out of that zone. Like somebody who has connection, relationship, all those kind of things. That's what you are looking for in that profile. And also, I think the striker, we just have to let Liam Delap go. Maybe loan him to a club and see how he picks. Maybe we sell from there, or let's see if he becomes ready, because I think the jump from Ipswich to Chelsea, maybe it's too much for him. We don't know, or maybe he's just struggling to find his feet. So let's see how it goes. But I think those are the positions that we need to strengthen. So guys, thank you very much for joining us. This is brought to you by Vertical Football, and this is the Blue Box. It's a show where we talk all things Chelsea. So please like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done that. That keeps us going, and that keeps us making more videos like this to keep satisfying our fan base. So we see you some other time. Namaste.